We have a number of members of the Board of Alders, Majority Leader Furlow, Alder Morrison, whose ward we are in right now. I also saw Alder Santiago here, Mike Lawler from the Police Commission. Very grateful that leadership of the Yale community is here as well. We have obviously Yale Police Chief Anthony Campbell, and we have Associate Vice President for Public Safety and Community Engagement, Ronell Higgins. We have Lauren Zucker from the Yale Office of New Haven State Affairs, and we have members of the New Haven Police Department as well. Alder Gusney is here as well, who also represents a lot of the Yale community. But we have Chief Jacobson, Chief Zanelli here as well. So I want to start by saying when you welcome someone to your community, you embrace them and you support them and you ensure that they are successful here. You don't promote fear, you don't promote misinformation, you don't mislead people about the home that is their new home. That's what move-in day for Yale University is. I've moved in students myself carrying their boxes and presenting a picture of our wonderful city, because that's what our wonderful city is. And unfortunately and tragically, the Yale Police Union decided to take a different approach, where they handed out unbelievably offensive flyers with misrepresentative information, scaring Yale students and promoting a narrative of our city that is inaccurate and totally offensive. And to do this is childish and is selfish. I fully respect a union's right to organize, to advocate for a good contract. But this crosses a line. You don't have to put someone else down to raise yourselves up. A skull and lines like, thankfully Yale students have managed to survive when they're here, a survival guide, and frankly these folks couldn't even be creative enough to come up with their own flyer. They chose and almost identically mirrored a flyer from the 1970s from the New York Police Union. We all stand here, number one, together united, the university and the city of New Haven, to support a city that, we have our challenges, but is overwhelmingly safe. To not cherry pick pieces of data to present a story and a narrative about New Haven that is false and scary. And we stand together to say, welcome. Welcome to our city. Yale students, you should come here and explore our city. You should embrace our city. You should get out into the neighborhoods instead of being afraid of our neighborhoods like the Yale Police Union might lead you to believe. And frankly, you look at the trends, and over the past 3 years, crime is going down. Violent crime is going down. Crime is going down because of the very work that the New Haven Police Department and our friends at the Yale Police Department are doing. Overall crime is going down. Unfortunately, the Yale Police Union has decided to take this tact, and we're standing united against such a narrative. And I want to thank the members of the Yale community and our own community to stand together here to say we don't accept this, and we welcome Yale students to our wonderful, beautiful, and safe city. I'd like to hand it over now to Chief Anthony Campbell for some words.
Thank you, Mayor.
Chief Campbell.
First and foremost, I want to say thank you to Mayor Elicker and to the staff of the city for coming out and supporting us, and for speaking out sternly with regard to this action taken by the Yale Police Benevolent Association. I echo the sentiment that Mayor Elicker has expressed. When people come to Yale University, when I came to Yale University 32 years ago to be a student, I would have been appalled to have been given, or my parents to be given, a flyer with information like the one that was handed out on behalf of the Yale Police Benevolent Association. I too support and have supported in the past unions' rights to organize and to seek a good and fair contract. But it must never be done at the expense of relationships and at the expense of the citizens of this great city, New Haven. And that's what they did. That is what is so offensive about the flyer that they handed out and about the sentiment behind it. I want to make it abundantly clear that they do not represent the spirit of the Yale University Police Department. They do not represent the command staff, the sergeants, lieutenants, captains of the police department. The spirit of our department is this: to serve every member of this community, to welcome them, and to make sure that we do everything we can to drive down crime and to give people a sense of safety. I am really appalled that they chose to do this as one of the earliest steps during contract negotiations. If you're going to have an issue, let that issue be between Yale University and the union. Do not drag the New Haven Police Department, do not drag the citizens of this city into such a discussion, because it's inappropriate and it is fear-mongering, and that is exactly what they have chosen to do. We do not support this, and to be quite frank, I'm really disgusted that they have chosen to take this path. There are so many other options for us to go down to discuss how to get to a place where we have a fair and equitable contract. Everyone who stands behind me comes to work every day working hard in their own capacity to make sure that every member of this community is safe. We try to make strides to move forward, and over the last 30 years, town-gown relationships have improved to a level never seen before. What the union has done has put a strain on that. I should never have to call the chief of police for the city of New Haven to alert him that they have taken such a negative action. I should not have to respond to emails from members of our community who say that this is really offensive and it paints the city in a negative light. I should never have to hear from members of my own department that they too are disgusted with what the union has done. The mayor talked about a line. There is a line in any negotiation that should never be crossed, and they went well beyond that line. They have brought shame upon their union, and they have put a target that really shouldn't be there on our backs. But what I can tell you is this: we have been here before, and we will work and strive to work with our partners, because every day the women and men of this department, the women and men of the New Haven Police Department, put on their uniform, leave their families in the hope that they will go out and make this city a better place, and that's what they do every day. We believe in this city, and we believe in the work that we are doing. We will work hard to heal this breach, and we will move forward in our efforts to make sure that every member of this community is safe. Our arms are open. We welcome our new students. We welcome every member of this community. And for the parents who may have been agitated, whose level of fear may have been elevated as a result of this, please know this: as I said to you that day, we will do everything we can to care for your most valuable assets, your children, to make sure that they return to you not only safely, but better than the way you dropped them off. And that is our goal for every member of this community. I hope that each and every one here and everyone who hears the sound of my voice understands that we will move forward working together to make sure that everyone understands that this is not acceptable behavior by any standard. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Campbell. You said a lot of what I was going to say. First, I want to thank everybody up here, because safety and low crime is created by a team effort, and this is team effort done in New Haven for every single type of crime. Violent crime, property crime, substance abuse. We all work together. It's not just on the hands or the responsibility of the Yale Police Department or the New Haven Police Department. We work together every day. We work extremely hard every day. I just want to speak up for the good officers that are out there every day working hard. This city is far safer every year we go by. Over the last 3 years, we are far safer than we were, and we will continue to be safer. It is a safe city. And it's due to the work of everybody up here, a combined effort of working hard to make the city safe, and also the hard work of the New Haven police officers and the Yale Police Department. Our departments work very well together. They have people embedded in our shooting task force. They have people out on patrol with us. We talk every week. We talk about what we need to do to make the city safer. Quite frankly, I was shocked to see that flyer went out. Our department is also in contract negotiations, and I appreciate that our union hasn't gone to that level, and I don't expect them to. They were actually a little shocked as well. And it's about giving the officers what they need to continue to keep this city safe. Not about telling the city it's not safe. Not about telling, like the chief said and the mayor said, young people are just coming to the city for the first time. That's appalling. You don't try to scare them into getting a better contract. That's not what this is about. So we're going to continue to do our job well. We're going to embrace the Yale Police Department. The New Haven Police Department is going to go out every day like they do and defend this city and keep this city safe. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ron L. Higgins. I'm the Associate Vice President for Public Safety at Yale University. I won't be before you long. You heard from the mayor, and Mayor, I want to thank you for your leadership. You heard from Chief Campbell. You heard from the chiefs. You heard from Chief Jacobson. All I have to say is take a look at this and take a look at yourselves. This is what a unity of effort looks like. This is what we do to push back against bad, and that was bad. I don't ever expect to see anything like that again. It was appalling. And I just want to thank the city for their partnership, their ongoing partnership, and we will continue to work and strive to make the city and the campus a place for people to come, to live, to study, and visit. We do this together. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alder Jeanette Morrison, and as the mayor said, this is my ward. I have been an alder for 12 years, since 2012, and I was born and raised in this town, and I've never fed into this disruptive relationship building between the city and Yale. And from day one, when I became alder, my first goal was to help to bridge the gap between New Haven and Yale. And I made sure that always one of my ward co-chairs is a student. Right to this day, I have a student as my ward co-chair. Why? Because we are one family. One family. And I am ashamed what this union has done. I would never in my life think that I would say ashamed and union at the same time, because I'm a 30-year union member for ASME. I love the unions, but to use this, to use our students, to use this city to say, don't come here because you can't get your contract right now, that's appalling. That's appalling, and it will not be tolerated. I have very good relationships with the Yale police. They're right across the street from my house. Why wouldn't I? And this union is going to come and do this to us? No, not acceptable, won't happen, not here in New Haven. We are going to continue the efforts that we have all made to make sure that this town-gown relationship continues to be the family that we are. So I thank every one of you for being here today, because that shows that you care about this relationship. And I thank every person here for your partnership and for your support of New Haven. So, Mayor, thank you. Thank you all the chiefs. We got a lot of protection up here. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I also want to recognize my majority leader and my Alder Guzne here and Alder Santiago. We are here together. Thank you for coming to my ward. See, we got to protect each other, okay? All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Alder Morrison. And we've also been joined by Alder Crespo. Appreciate you being here. So the final two speakers are Mike Lawler, who's a member of the New Haven Police Commission, and also Olivia Langley, who's works for Connecticut VIP.
Well, thanks, Mayor. Yes, I'm on the Police Commission, but I also live in this city. And when I saw this flyer yesterday, it bothered me as a citizen of this city. Not just recently, but for my entire life. I've lived here. I've worked downtown. I was a prosecutor in a courthouse 100 yards from here 40 years ago. I have never experienced any danger walking the streets of New Haven. If you read that flyer, it says, don't go out after 8 o'clock. My family, my husband, our son attends public high school. We have never had a problem like that. If this image of a dystopian hellscape were accurate, it would be an extraordinary self-own by the Yale police. But it's not true. It's not true. Second, I want to say something about whatever the strategy was behind a tactic like this. As you've heard, like many of the people up here, I completely support collective bargaining. I wish everyone was unionized. I wish everyone had health care insurance and a defined benefit pension. In an ideal world, that would be the case. This tactic has got to be the most boneheaded tactic I have ever seen. I've spent 40 years trying to convince people of a point of view, how to change things, how to make reforms in many different roles. I've never seen anything like this. It is completely counterproductive. Mayor Elicker mentioned something that I'd like to teach a very brief history lesson about. This brochure, this flyer, is plagiarized from a 1975 NYPD Patrolmen's Benevolent Association flyer. And what did they do back then in the midst of a real crisis where thousands of police and other municipal workers were being laid off? They decided it would be a good idea to print up this type of flyer, make 1 million copies, literally 1 million copies, and they went to the airports in New York and handed these to passengers getting off of international flights coming into the city. Within 48 hours, every other union in New York City, including the Sergeants and Lieutenants Union in the NYPD, condemned it, and they stopped it. It was completely counterproductive. Then it was more accurate than this flyer is today. New York was having some very serious problems. But you would think whoever decided to copy that pamphlet and distribute it to students and their parents arriving on this campus yesterday and the day before would have done more research into what happened after that tactic was employed. The final thing that bothers me is I teach at a different university. I'm not affiliated with Yale. I'm not here to carry their water. But all I could think of yesterday was what I see every single year when freshmen and their parents arrive on our campus. Many of you have had this experience as a student or as a parent. This is one of the most important days in a person's life, in a child or a parent. And to be confronted with this inflammatory and false flyer is, in fact, an outrage. I hope the Yale Police Union learns a lesson from this. I hope to never see it again in my city.
Hello, everyone. My name is Olivia Langley from Connecticut Violence Intervention Program. I was honored to speak here today because we're actually right down the road. We are located at 230 Ashman Street. So we are a violence intervention program. We work collaboratively with the representative behind me to reduce crime in New Haven and in Hamden. We work in the school systems and we work neighborhood-based. So we work in Fairhaven, downtown, Westville, Exit 8, So the services that we provide, if there is crime, we always encourage our students to come out. We want our students to get off the campus, come down to our building, learn about the services that we're offering, the work that we're doing in New Haven and in Hampden, and also just be a part of that process. The youth that we work with, ages 12 to 24, are the highest risk. So we're providing those services so that they aren't committing those crimes, keeping New Haven safe, and also, again, working with the collaborative partners behind me to reduce crime. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Olivia. And the final speaker is going to be Ronald Huggins, who works as one of the leaders in our Youth and Recreation Department.
Good afternoon, everyone. As a New Havener, I am disappointed. I am totally disappointed. Real friends run in when others run out. So yes, we have some challenges, but we've made progress. What has the Yale Union done as a friend of this city? Absolutely nothing. Nothing besides attempt to put out fear. And that right there is disgraceful. Let's look at 2023. As a city, we have more funding for youth programs, we've solved more homicides, we've worked together to take on challenges head on. So to the students at Yale, hear my voice. I challenge you to embrace New Haven and the beauty of our city, to play an active role in this city, which is now your city and now your home. Thank you.
Do folks have any questions?
How many of these flyers are handed out and at what time?
Any of you have information?
I can't say the actual number. The union didn't share that information with us, but I could tell you that right in this hall behind me, Woolsey Hall, I addressed parents and students Sunday afternoon, and I addressed that some of them may have received them and a number of parents handed them out. I do believe that the plans to continue to handing them out were disrupted. Many of the parents, many of the students started making it very clear to those who were handing them out that they did not appreciate them, and that information made its way back to the union, who ultimately shut it down.
So the union, how many, obviously this is the actions of some, not all. Do
Correct.
you know how many union members were responsible for creating and also dispersing these flyers?
I believe it was part of the executive board of the union. I've been told by multiple members of my department who have been interacting with officers who found out later that these flyers had been distributed, that they had no knowledge that the union planned on doing this. And that is another problem that I think the union really will have to address with its members. No members of the command staff were aware that this was a plan for them to be distributed in this way. So I think that's something the union will have to deal with.
I have 2 questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, respecting of the position of this is a negotiation time, what makes you all say that? Is there some sort of negotiation impasse? Is there a meeting that didn't happen? Is there a stall? What makes you say this is negotiation?
What makes me say it is because once I learned of the flyers, I called the president of the union and said, what in the world is going on? And he expressed to me that they did not have plans to do this, but when the university approached them with their proposed dollar amount for the contract, they were offended, and that members of the board of the union decided that something needed to be done, and this is what they decided to do. I don't think it was a good decision.
And so the union said that this was designed to be attention getting. What is your response to that?
Oh, I think they've gotten some attention, but I do not think it's the attention that they want. Because the one thing they need to understand, we support their right to seek a fair and equitable contract. That's, as Mike Lawler best put it, I wish everyone was a member of a union. But you don't do it at the expense of the citizens of this city. You don't do it at the expense of relationships with our partners. And they need to remember that if you were to actually follow the premise of each of the things printed in the flyer, it says one of 2 things. Either the officers are incompetent or they're not doing their jobs. And neither of those things is true. Every woman and man who puts on this uniform and puts on the New Haven uniform is doing their job to the best of their ability and trying to bridge gaps. We're not here to create fear, and we're supposed to represent peace. We're supposed to be peacemakers, not those who create division, and that's exactly what this did. So I really think this backfired on them in the worst way.
If I could just respond to that question as well. We actually talked about whether or not to do this press conference because we wondered the same thing. Is this going to give them what they want? And there's two things that we decided. One is when there is something so offensive like this, if we didn't call it out, in some ways we'd be complicit and maybe even endorsing the narrative that they were pushing out. And two, it is so shameful. It is so shameful that we should call this out so that it never happens again. And I hope that they, or the people that chose to do this, or at a minimum, many of their union members realize this was a bad call and they need to push their union leadership to never ever do something like this again.
Just to kind of dovetail off of that, what Chief Campbell, what you were saying, I mean, what, and kind of Kyle's question, like, what is the point? Is that going to be a form of attack on themselves as a department that we're not maybe doing enough? What to you do you feel like the point was possibly behind this when it came to a bargaining attack?
I really don't think this was well thought out. You know, in hindsight, I just wish, as Mayor Elliker said, that they never do something like this again. And if they even remotely consider something like this, reach out to someone, anyone, because anyone would have told them this is not a good idea. If the point was to get attention, they've gotten it, but I think they've gotten the wrong type of attention. I just don't think this was well thought out at all.
What kind of like mitigation efforts have you had to do with parents and families? As you said, parents use this flyer when they're moving their kid in. They're like, what do I do now? What has the department done to try to solve this?
So I came in to address all of the parents at one of the sessions here on Sunday afternoon. And I spent time afterwards, both on stage and afterwards, talking to them about the reality that we have many layers of protection. Not only is there one police department, that there are two, that Yale has security officers as well, that we have access control, cameras, that the city is expanding its services with Compass and other resources. A lot is being done to keep everyone safe in this community. And once they understood that, many of them thanked me for their reassurance. But I shouldn't have to go that extra mark because they're arriving, as Mike Lawler said, on one of the most important celebratory days of their lives, only to be handed something that stokes up fear. It shouldn't be that way at all.
I think, the elephant in the room here is that this comes at a time when we did see, some crime directed at, or at least that were targeted Yale students, undergrad, graduate students, when there were people going into their apartments. Can you explain that, where that investigation goes, and how it's still safe here and the students will still be here?
If they had spoken to someone who really would have helped them to understand that if you're going to do something like this, then get your facts right, as Mike Lawler said. First of all, the facts that they're presenting have a lot to do with what's happening around the city. When you look at crime on the campus, robberies and burglaries have decreased. And they handed these out to first-year students who were arriving, all who are required to live on the campus. Those incidents that you're talking about do not affect those students. So if you're going to draw attention, make sure you have your facts in alignment. And when it comes to those investigations, I can tell you that progress has been made with those investigations. The New Haven Police Department is working on a number of them in collaboration with us. And we always bring those investigations to a close, and we try to push out information once we have the investigation complete to let people know work is being done in the background.
Do you have a suspect at this point, or people of interest?
I wouldn't want to comment on it. Yep.
Kind of going off her point, this is kind of a hard question, but what are the statistics for crime on campus at Yale? Maybe within the last year, 5 years. What's a figure behind it?
Sure. One of the great things about a campus is that, according to the Clery Act, which all institutions of higher learning must follow, every year we put out all of our statistics in our Clery report. You could go to the Yale Public Safety website, Clery report is right there. It has all statistics on all crimes that occur on the campus.
I mean, I can add to that. Over the past approximately 3 years, violent crime is down by 29.2%, property crime is down by 7.6%, and other crime is down by 18.8%. That's citywide. Downtown is one of the more safe neighborhoods in the city. We have increases from time to time during certain periods, and so one could always choose a certain period to frame things in a certain way, but I think that what Mike and Chief Campbell said is quite accurate, that the very flyer that's being put out is reflecting on the work that the people are doing that are putting out the flyer. And I guarantee if you talk with officers, they would, by and large, saying we're making a lot of progress. We always have more work to do in New Haven, but we're making a lot of progress. Thank you, everybody.